quick and easy video for you today, guys. I had a piece of terrain and I wanted to add a big flickering flame inside the terrain to make the terrain look like it's being lived in, like it's being inhabited. Check out what we did.
This here is a fantastic piece of terrain that won a prize this year at Mythiccon. This was done by Dungeon Matron, Lisa. And sadly, I'd driven there, but she had flown in, so she couldn't take this piece of terrain home with her. So I said, well, rather than it be, going to the trash or whatever, maybe I can take it and add some lights into it. So today's challenge, how do we add a large, high power yellow LED into the back there? Here's a nice and easy block diagram for you here, folks. This is what we're going to do today. This over here is a big yellow LED. These are about 3 watts of power, really, really powerful. But they're either on or they're off. They never have like this nice little flickering pattern and things like that. The one I'm going to use is going to have a resistor into it. So these are sold as being 5-volt high power LEDs. Over here, I've got a battery pack that'll have a little switch. And with 3 AAA batteries in it, it makes 4.5 volts, close enough. And then we're going to use this Terrain-Tronics product, a product I designed a little while ago. It's called a Carew Castle LED cloner. And what it does is it takes this normal 3mm flickering LED and it clones it. It clones the brightness and the pattern and so on out to a larger LED. So we get the 3 watts of power with the same pattern as this little, maybe 60 milliwatt power LED. So there's plenty of power boost there. The ground or the negative, the black wire, comes out and is common to all of them. So all of them will come back to here, and this simply acts as a booster, copying this out to the big LED. All right, here we have our build. Let's have a look here. We've got a battery pack. We've got the Carew board. That's 10mm by 10mm, less than a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch, a flickering yellow LED. And just to make sure this LED works okay, I've already put batteries in here. You should see that this is a lovely deep yellow LED. Okay, so we're going to bury that deep in our house. Okay, I'll switch that off just in case they short and so on. First thing we're going to do is we're going to hook our LED in here. Long leg goes to the middle of the board, short leg out. That's going to go in like that. Make sure you guys can see it. Bend these legs out. We'll solder those in place. We'll bring the power in. Yeah, at the top here, 5-volt, from the red from the battery there. Black from the battery goes on the second one down. And then this big LED, the D plus, is going to connect up here to this corner one, and then we'll bring the ground back in by there. I'm going to solder these 2 points, and I'm going to put a couple of blobs of solder on these 2. While the soldering iron is heating up, we'll do these easy jobs first. Blob of solder on by there. And remember, in soldering, we put the heat onto both sides to heat up the entire joint. Then we add solder. Okay, that's that done. And then let's add a blob of solder on here. We'll come back to that. Blob of solder on there. Now these big LEDs, you don't really like having solder put on them because there's such a big heat sink. They pass the power straight on. So we'll come back to these in just a moment. You don't really solder like traditionally like you do to these little Carew boards because they're so small. I designed them for solder blobs. And so what I'm going to do is watch. I add heat, add a blob of solder, done. Heat, add a blob of solder, done. And then these 2 by here. Heat, add a blob of solder, done. Heat, add a blob of solder, done. Red and black go directly to this board. So red goes onto the top here. Josie, we'll add the black one down here, so it's two. Let that cool off. And then I need 2 wires coming over to our LED. So there's my red wire. Let me peel it a little. There we go. 1, 2. We'll get some black wire about the same length. So the way I'm going to build this is I'm going to actually insert it straight into the terrain and allow it to be removable so I can use it in other places as well. So same thing again, a little bit of black. There we go. Alright. Now my battery pack is always off during this, okay, just in case the 2 wires do touch. But they're definitely not touching here, and I'm actually going to add some hot glue between them to secure them as well. Okay, so first things first, let's add this black wire that's going to go to the negative of the LED. I simply warm up the blob of solder and slide the wire into it. Done. Fastest soldering job in the West. I'm going to do the same again. Add a little heat. Push the wire in. Remove the heat. And now we have a connection. And this is D plus on the LED. So it makes a good connection. I do the same. There. Now let's see if this works. I push the power on. There we go. And now the flickering is being cloned. Beautiful. Worked first time. Love it when it works first time. Now let's see if I can do this single-handed. You ready? I'm going to switch it on. Boom. I'm going to insert it in here. Alright, here we go. A little bit of extra persuasion there. You can now see I've actually moved all of this around to this side. When it's time to take it out and switch it off after the session, I can simply slide it over and it should be fine. One thing I didn't account for was the markings on the foam on the inside, which wasn't painted. Clearly it was a rush job, but we can just call that some kind of hieroglyphics, can't we?
And so just like that, we've made a module that we can put into any piece of terrain that provides up to 1 watt or 3 watts of flickering LED goodness with a simple battery pack attached to it. Now, if you've liked what you've seen today, a comment below, if it's a lot faster, a lot quicker than some of the other content I've made in the past. If you did like it, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like and do all the usual YouTube stuff so that you can continue seeing more of the Terrain-Tronics and my collaborators' projects and so on. Until next time, thanks again. Bye-bye.